All right, this is Bonafide Mike right here on the digital airwaves of YouTube. And today we have episode 15 of Just Two People Talking. Actually, but in this instance, it's going to be just three people talking because I have the amazing Trish and Darin Murphy of Skyrocket returning back to the show. So thank you very much for coming back and doing this again. I super appreciate this so much.
Sure, thanks for having us.
Good to see you.
That's great. Okay, I know the last time that we spoke, we touched on the early days when you said you were listening to music in the house growing up, the 45s, the records, music always around, variety shows. So as you started getting a little bit older, how did you gravitate to like the guitar, Trish, and the drums, Darin? Did you become aware of the musical instruments? Did someone teach you, or are you self-taught on those?
Yeah, we had instruments around the house a lot, and it would range from my dad's guitars because he played, to some random one of those organs that have the little push buttons on it. Maybe our grandmother would give us a.
Oh, okay.
And then for me, if there was a piano in any home that I went to visit, I was always drawn to the piano, but we didn't really have one at home, and we couldn't really afford lessons and things like that. So there was one summer where I was bored, and my dad had this classical guitar laying around. I just asked him if he'd teach me how to play it. So that's how I got started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing like really formal, just like did you pick up any other instruments other than that? Because I know you do guitar primarily and vocals, and drums, vocals. But are there any other instruments that you can play as well as those?
Well, when I was about 12, my dad had a friend who played the banjo, and so he had an extra one laying around, and so I took an interest in that and started playing that, and got interested in mandolin when I was a little bit older, and so I had this golden phase of my brain where I could learn pretty quickly to play most things, and I had lots of time to practice. So, yeah, I didn't become proficient at any of those, but it was just part of a musical journey. And with music around the house so much, and my dad's had so many friends who played. So I think as a kid, it's just like if somebody's playing baseball, you want to play too. I think it kind of had that flavor to it.
That's awesome, and the same with you as well.
Yeah, it all started really very, very early because there were always musicians coming through the house.
Oh, really?
And Dad had a band. And occasionally, the entire band would rehearse at the house, and so I saw a professional drum kit then, and I was fixated immediately.
Okay.
And so that was the only thing I was interested in. I was always kind of curious. I was mystified by the guitar more than I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a drummer and gradually accumulated drum here and a drum there, and I got my first playable complete drum kit.
There goes that.
For my 11th birthday. So it was convenient to have musicians coming through the house because it was kind of trial by fire.
Okay.
Learning to cut it with all of these different players, and one of them was legendary Clarence Gatemouth Brown.
Oh, really?
Came to the house.
I met him once. I have a signed CD from him. I saw him here actually.
Yeah,
So as you got older, when you started the Trish and Darin duo, was that a band that it was just you two? Was that like cover songs, or were they original songs? This is back in Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was. We were writing songs on our own.
Okay.
And but for a long time we weren't living in the same town. She was in Dallas College.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I was in Houston, and I was working as a DJ, and I went to. In fact, there was one time for a period for about 3 months we both lived in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
And so that's like the first ever Trish and Darin gig.
Oh, really?
Was at a coffee house on the University of Dallas campus. I still have the cassette.
Oh, a cassette. Oh, my God.
That kid.
That's awesome.
And So then I started playing in other bands. I started writing songs, and she was writing songs on her own. And then when we both got back to Houston, then that was when we got together, and we were just playing acoustic gigs, and I was playing guitar by then.
Oh, okay.
And so we would just play whatever we knew, wherever we could play.
Yeah.
And as we started getting more of a following, we started getting more interested in writing songs, and then we had enough to put out an album.
Really? What album was that?
It was called Yes, We're Open.
Yes,
That's
We're Open.
a CD
Okay.
that we recorded back in 1991.
Oh, I'll have to look for that.
Yeah. We have 2 releases of original songs as a duo.
So, when did you both gravitate to Austin? I know you live in Austin now, but did you both move there together, or did one of you go first and the other one follow?
I moved first because my girlfriend moved up here.
Okay.
And so I chose to follow her and kind of got dipped my foot in the scene, and then Trish came up a couple years later.
Okay. So when you lived in Austin, or when you were there, or when you were both there at the time, can you talk just a little bit briefly about what the music scene was like at that time? I know some of those clubs aren't around anymore, like Liberty Lunch. I used to go to that place. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But do you have any memories, or can you speak a little bit about what was happening at that time, like other bands, or what was going on in that music scene?
Yeah, it was interesting because we were both kind of by that time swimming in different pools. Darin was really drawn to the diversity of the Austin scene, and so he was playing with a lot of pop guys and making a lot of friends. And then when I got there, I had started writing a pack of solo songs that were coming out with much more of a rootsy flavor to them, an Americana flavor. And some of my favorite bands at the time were Sunvolt. I loved Jay Farrar as a songwriter. And so I was starting to play solo shows by that time. And in Austin, that was the scene that I was kind of finding myself, in sort of loosely associating with other people that were doing the same thing I was doing. So Slade Cleaves was sort of coming on the scene.
Okay.
Kelly Willis had just finished her studio album when I went into the Hit Shack to start my record, because we both hired the same producer. So she was on the scene then. She had a major label deal and then had sort of broken up with that and started doing her own stuff. And she was also much more interested in the talent of local songwriters. So Damon Bramlett was another guy that was around at the same time, and the Coffee Sergeants. I think one of those guys played on my record. And then, some diehard musicians in Austin too, who ended up in the studio with me. John Graham, who played on my first album. Mike Hardwick and Raphael Guile played drums. So I was kind of finding out this whole songwriter scene in Austin that had sort of had a long, storied, developed history, and I didn't really expect to end up being a part of it at all. I felt like I was just the weird outside girl from Houston showing up to make a record. Mm-hmm. So it all felt like a very accidental reality that happened. Yeah, I still can't really explain how or why it happened.
Are there some clubs you like playing there now in Austin?
Now? Yes. 310 ACL Live is a great place for us to play, whether we're doing whether it's an original band or a tribute band. A lot of folks love to play at Hotel Vegas. I've never actually played there. Mm-hmm. There's the Far Out Lounge is pretty funky and remote. I find that the people that sort of inhabited the downtown scene back in the 90s mm-hmm. have found places in other areas further south that kind of still have that Austin-y vibe. Downtown is completely different.
I'm sure it is right now.
So it's a lot more challenging to be a player now because there aren't as many established places. so there, where you can build a solid following.
Who were some of the people you first bonded with when you started kind of getting to know people in Austin?
Well, the first friend I had when I moved to town was Johnny Gowdy, who's in Skyrocket, and we spent a lot of time together, and I spent a lot of time hanging out at the Steamboat.
Wow.
And then I went over and discovered the Electric Lounge.
Oh, I remember that one too.
So that was when I discovered the Electric Lounge and was seeing the bands that were playing there. That was like when I really felt like I was home. These are people that speak my language and play my kind of music. So there were bands like Fastball and Spoon and Cotton Mather, and then the real heroes with Benjamin Hotchkiss, who's the front man for Skyrocket.
Yes.
That we all bonded at the places like the Electric Lounge and the Red Eyed Fly. And all of those places are gone now. So musicians have to create their own scene. They have to find those places where they have a chemistry.
They had a lot of those bands, because I know when I used to go to Liberty Lunch, I saw Warren Zevon on there several times. They had Electric Lounge. You're talking about, I saw Maria McKee there, and so these people were playing all these places. The Ritz, But speaking of those places, did either one of you ever play at Waterloo Records on that stage they had back when they were on 6th and Lamar? They used to use it for all their record release parties, or when somebody was in town, South by Southwest. Remember, the stage was by the front, and they had that. Did you ever play there?
I think I must have played something when my first record came out. Maybe the second one too.
The Rubies on the Lawn?
No, the first one was Crooked Mile.
Okay.
And Darin, do you remember? Because you were in my band. We worked together, and then we didn't, and then we did, and we didn't. But it was just like this continuum. We were always, available to each other. So
there was a great stage at Tower Records. I remember you played there.
on Guadalupe.
Oh yes, I forgot about that place.
I did a record release for Rubies on the Lawn at Tower. I think the time that I played at Waterloo Records was probably when Crooked Mile came out, which would have been 1997, because I remember we were having to make all the promo materials and all the display materials for Waterloo Records, and because that was the only shop in town where the record was being sold. Yeah, they didn't have any distribution or anything. So, we're knifing out pictures and mounting it onto poster board and taking it to the store so that there'd be a record bin divider with my picture on it. And so I remember all those.
A lot of that
nights making stuff, doing
merchandising, because back then you used to see flyers on the poles, and you see people hanging out flyers. Because I remember being on 6th Street walking around, and people were just advertising for this show, that show. When you mentioned the Steamboat, real quick, I remember going there. I saw Dick Dale there.
Oh yeah.
And
we used to play Continental Club. Satellite Lounge?
They had interesting bands. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, they were based in Austin for a while. The Recliners.
Yeah.
They did kind of that loungy, but they would do cover songs like they did Back in Black, like a loungy version.
Yeah.
And so I remember seeing those guys there, and they played here in San Antonio a few times, but primarily in Austin. But it was so much going on, and it was so diverse, and it was just such a great scene. But back in those days when I lived here, I could get to Austin in less than an hour. It was just there was nothing on 35. You would just fly up there, boom, and then just seeing some of the other blues shows there. It was just that was an amazing time, a golden era. Of course, everything has changed. So if I can change the subject a little bit on something else, I wanted to ask you last time about this, Trish, is that are you still doing those cooking classes, teaching Italian cooking?
At Central Market?
Yes.
Yeah, I still do it. It's just so intermittent, but the cooking school is so popular, and they have cooking classes usually 7 days a week, year round, and so they keep it so booked, and there's such a long line of people, because there's all these, you got to realize, the cookbook business is a lot like the music business. Putting out a cookbook is a lot like putting out a record. Once you put out a cookbook, you got to do a book tour.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So most of the people that teach classes at Central Market are rotating through on a book tour, and they'll be like, I've gotten so many free cookbooks from the Central Market Cooking School because they just get all this stuff. So it's a little hard to get on their schedule. And if I'm busy doing other stuff, I'll forget to call and bug them. And they're always like, bug us, come on, you got to come back. But it's got to be booked like 9 months in advance. It's got to be on a night that I know I'm not going to get knocked off by a skyrocket. So yeah, it's a little crazy, but I still love doing it. I love cooking. I'm cooking more than ever now in my free time. And so it really is like this other Trish that's sort of lurking around. She's, got an apron on and is always got a knife in her hand.
And I was wanting to ask you about that last time, but I didn't want to keep you for too long. But and you, Darin, do you have anything aside from music that you do as well? That's a non-music project or
a non-music project.
I'd be hard pressed to come up with something.
I do acting.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Oh, okay. Is it? What have I seen you in?
Yeah, I don't think that you've seen me in anything major because most of the work that I do is in like independent micro-budget films.
Oh, okay.
Just within the Austin scene, you may have seen me on like just a flash of my face on a commercial or two.
He does a lot of voice acting too, so you're also likely to hear.
Oh, on a commercial, I might. I'm like, hey, that's him.
Yeah, I hear you sometimes on TV.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Cool. I did a video game once. I did a Grease video game, the movie Grease.
Okay.
Somebody came up and did
made a
a
video
licensing.
game?
Yeah, they did a licensing deal with Paramount to do a video game based on the movie, and the guy who was doing the music had a studio here, and somehow I ended up being the voice of Danny Zuko.
Oh wow!
Grease movie.
Hey, well that works for me. So that's awesome. All right, well that's great. So let me fast forward back to Skyrocket. So what can we expect to see in the show tonight? Anything new? Did Uptown Girl make it into the set?
Oh, not yet, but I'm determined.
Yeah, I've been singing that song all damn day today.
Okay.
In fact, I was auditioning for an acting job that involved me singing Uptown Girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There's no reason not to do it. It's a great.
Well, maybe it'll make its way in at some point. So, and I asked this the last time, so if you could respond once again, what are people going to miss out on when they do not come to the show? What are they missing out on other than a great energy show?
In a word, joy. One of my best friends came to see the show and said, I get it. This is joy. Just to be in the audience and the atmosphere that you create, it's just so joyful.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I guess I'll wind this down and say thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I love hearing your stories. Those are some great stories. And best of luck to you on the rest of the upcoming shows. And once again, thanks for coming to San Antonio. And we appreciate Skyrocket here so much.
We love it, Sam. Yeah. We love it. We love this town.
Okay, thank you so much, Trish, Darin. Have a great show tonight, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See y'all.